I suck at painting and I decided to paint 20 portraits, which took me forever. If you're new to my channel, I am learning about arts. It's been 3 years, I think, by now. I'm not sure, but this is how the 20 portraits went. My very first portrait, I decided to follow a tutorial on YouTube. He used oil paint, and at that time I didn't have oil paint and I didn't know how to use it. So I ended up using acrylic. I think it turned out pretty okay for my first portrait. For portrait number 2, which I painted after a year, I didn't want to paint realistically. I just wanted to paint and see how a portrait would look if I just painted it. Everything was intentional, the strokes. And, even though it does not look like the prettiest portrait, I am proud of it and I consider it success because it was intentional. It does look flat and the proportions of the head look a little off, but it's okay. For portrait number 3, I decided to take a class in domestic. I am addicted to buying classes. I learned about depth, tone, highlights, and would definitely recommend this class if you're into acrylic portrait painting. This was a very nice class. I learned a lot, but I forgot. For portrait number 4, I pretty much forgot everything I learned, and I also lost my footage for this portrait. Portrait number 5, this is the only footage that I have for this painting too. I don't know where I lost my footages for both of the portraits. I did a very bad job with the highlights and also the tone. So I pretty much failed this one. And for portrait number 6, I was pretty concerned at first because the skin tone looks muted. Like I'm having a hard time figuring out the right color and I need a lot of practice. But I was also happy with myself because I was slowly aware of depth and shadows, and the portrait doesn't look flat, and it turned out beautiful. One of my favorite portraits, actually. For portrait number 7, I was pretty much burning out at this point because I was really trying to manage my time with classes, work, and learning how to paint. So I wasn't really focusing while painting this, but I do like how I painted the shadow on her nose. I really like how I painted her nose, not gonna lie. But I'm not sure what I did with her teeth and her hair. Portrait number 8, I was pretty much exhausted and I tried to paint it twice. But after that painting, I stopped painting for about 6 months, I think, and when my painting classes started, that's when I started painting. Portrait number 9, we had to paint the sculpture in my class. I was pretty nervous, and it was my first time using oil, so this is when I got introduced to oil painting, and it turned out beautiful. I was just so happy. For portrait number 10, I painted a blue portrait at 3 a.m. at night, and it looks beautiful. I love this portrait. Portrait number 11. I couldn't replicate the painting, so I pretty much called it failed because I was mad at myself. But I do like the colors. Portrait number 12. I had to paint a self-portrait, and I was not sure if it was working out for me. It looks a little flat, but it's okay. For portrait number 13, me and my friend, we painted each other. We had a time limit for like 5 minutes, I think, and this is how it turned out. I was having fun with it, so it's okay. Portrait number 14, I don't know what happened to me. I was pretty concerned at this point. I was like, I need to learn how to paint again, okay? Because after my classes ended, I stopped painting for 4 months again, okay? And I decided to take a class for portrait number 15 on Skillshare. Like I said, I have an addiction to, to buy classes. Not even to buy food or clothes. I have an addiction and I don't go back to those classes. Anyways, I really liked how this portrait turned out. I was following her tutorial, learning about lights on her face. It looks so beautiful, and I felt pretty confident to paint portrait number 16, where I painted my friend / my cousin, my sister, whatever. And this is one of my favorite paintings, because I was able to capture her beautiness. Of course I wasn't. She's just too beautiful. Okay, she is beautiful. But I love this painting. And for portrait number 17, okay, this was my first time painting a male, okay? And I don't know, I was like, maybe I should paint my friend, and then it didn't look right because my drawing wasn't right. So I decided to take another class. This class is amazing. He is such an amazing painter. Will Rochfort, I forgot his name, but I'm gonna put it down. Oh my goodness. This portrait turned out to look so beautiful, even though I couldn't really concentrate. And then I went back to painting my friend's portrait again, which I pretty much failed because I couldn't figure out his skin tone, and I was pretty sad about it. And for portrait number 19, I painted Timothy because my friend requested me to paint him, and I was using the technique I learned from Daria and also mixing it with the technique that I learned from Will and also from my professor. I was really trying to figure out how I like to paint, or which would be easier for me and more comfortable for me. And I think this was pretty good, even though I do see like white canvas peeking through my painting, which isn't really fun. And I'm not sure what I did with the proportions. I really have to learn how to be patient, okay? He looks handsome. He's handsome. Very, very handsome. Portrait number 20, I painted my friend. She went to Japan for a while and she took this beautiful picture, and I was like, girl, I have to paint you. And she was like, yeah, go ahead, please. And I was feeling a bit confident, but then I realized I got her skin tone wrong. I think I made her skin tone a bit lighter. And also the proportions of her face looks a little off to me, especially on the nose area. But you know what? This painting just looks so beautiful that I overlooked the fact that I got the proportions wrong. I'm so glad I got to paint her. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Before I say my goodbyes, I did want to say a few things that I learned during this whole process. The number one thing that I learned is to have a solid drawing. If you want to have a solid painting, have a solid drawing. That's something that I learned from my professor, and I'm still having a hard time applying into my paintings, but I will work on that. And to work on that, I have to work on my patience, and I really need to learn how to work with colors, to create the right tones too. And if you're someone like me who learns really, really slow, please do not give up. You see how I took more than a year to almost 2 years to paint 20 portraits. Okay, not even like 30 or 40 portraits. To paint 20 portraits, I took such a long time, and I'm still a beginner. I've still not mastered it, but it's okay because I will keep on painting, and I hope you keep painting too, and I hope you keep working on whatever you're working on too. Please do not give up, and yeah, I will be painting. God bless you. Take care. You are just so amazing, and I would like to credit the rightful owners of the pictures, the models, the photographers, and my friends. I am just so glad I got to paint you guys. Thank you. Bye.